In this episode, we're going to be hitting up 5 different Vietnamese coffee spots and we're going to rate them and see which one is the best one. I hope you're ready to get caffeinated. Let's go. I'm currently standing in front of our first location in Fountain Valley, California, and it's called Cà Phê, and Ray in Vietnamese means slow, like slower than slow, almost like snail pace. And because it's called Cà Phê, that means it's like a place where you should really take your time and enjoy your coffee. So I'm really excited to try out their Vietnamese coffee. Let's go on in.
You got me going into overdrive. Too busy, can you leave a message by the tone? You got me wrapped around in summertime. Yeah, yeah. I need to know we'll fall in love right here and now. Call me up whenever you're feeling low. Stimulate your mind, we can take it.
I really like these 2 cups. I think the green one is cute too. I ordered a black sesame coffee. It comes in a really small cup, but it is actually really concentrated Vietnamese coffee at the very bottom. I believe it's like a sesame cream up top. Maybe condensed milk with black sesame, I'm not sure. And then I believe 2 to 3 shots of Robusta coffee at the bottom, which is really strong. This is why they don't make it in like a really large cup. It's just because of how strong the coffee is. And the second drink that my sister and I got is a marble latte. At the very bottom, I believe it's condensed milk, and then the middle section is espresso, and then at the top is sweet cream, and the beans are Robusta beans. It's a medium roast, very strong, and so you can get that hit of caffeine, but you do have to mix it. Mix, mix, mix. That's really good. Pretty picky with black sesame in general, but this blends really well. The earthy sesame taste together with the coffee, which is also earthy and bitter, but it's like a really good bitter. It hits really well. And if you're a fan of Vietnamese coffee, I highly recommend this. My first cup of coffee today, and it's really satisfying. This is a 9.5 for me. I know it's a small cup, but it's like really quality and really strong and very concentrated. So you get that hit of caffeine and it just hits like, but so good. It hits so good. This is the marble latte. In Vietnamese, it's called bạc xỉu, which is like, I don't know why it's called that. I should figure it out. It's a pretty good latte. It's one of the better lattes I've had in a really long time. It gives me that kick. Like if you really like the taste of like caffeine or heavy caffeine, then this is one of like the stronger lattes that you would get. Of course, you get the sweet cream and then the condensed milk, so it's a little bit milky. But for a latte compared to other lattes that I've had, I really like this. For this latte, I would give this latte probably like an 8.5. If you like sesame and you like coffee, this is one that I highly would recommend. I was gonna try their regular Vietnamese coffee, but they recommend that I try this because this is probably one of their more popular drinks, and the barista recommended this to me, so I will take his word for it. Gotta say, his recommendation is definitely a good one. So if you're not a person who's used to the caffeine, or like if you have not had Vietnamese coffee before, it is going to be very strong for you. But I'm Vietnamese and we like our coffee strong. This is just perfect. A little disclaimer, if you like your coffee more smooth and not very gritty, this is definitely not the one for you, because the sesame, the grounded sesame, will give you a little bit of the grittiness. You look at the bottom, you can see it. This is where all the black sesame is. It's not like too gritty. I think it's just like all right for me, and I really didn't mind it at all, because I've had like, you know, matcha that has a lot of the powder or like the little grinds at the bottom. So if you're okay with that, definitely give this a try. Between the two, I actually really enjoy both, but if you're looking for something that's really strong and will pack a punch, something that's really concentrated, go with the Vietnamese coffee or the black sesame coffee, because it's going to give you that kick. If you're not used to drinking such strong coffee, you want something a little bit lighter, go with the marble latte instead, because it's going to give you a little bit of that caffeine kick, but it's not going to be so strong compared to this one. And again, if you don't like texture, go with regular Vietnamese coffee. Killed it. Done. Now I'm sad. I'm currently in Santa Ana, and our second location is Trung Nguyên E-Coffee. I think Trung Nguyên is like a place in Vietnam, and I don't know what E stands for, but I'm really excited to try out their Vietnamese coffee, and it's really bright and sunny, so let's go on in. I'm definitely gonna get an iced coffee because it's really hot outside. Milk, thin drip. They have a star next to it. Star means it's popular, so let's go on in and try it.
언제나 내게
I'm currently waiting for my coffee, and in the meantime, they offer complimentary tea. At this station over here, they have water for you and complimentary tea if you're interested. This is our order here. First off, we have our drip coffee, and it's with a fin right here. This is what Vietnamese people use to make Vietnamese coffee. You filter your espresso through and you get espresso at the bottom right here. And then here is condensed milk, in which you have to mix together with the espresso. And over here we have probably the prettiest drink I've ever seen in my entire life. This is a strawberry matcha Yakult drink. It reminds me of a spring day. The pink and like the white, the strawberry, kind of reminds me of like the cherry blossom. And it's just so gorgeous and vibrant in color. Alrighty, let's make our coffee. We have our ice here, condensed milk, and our fin. So I think first off, you're gonna have to take off your fin. I usually take the lid and I put the fin on top to catch the espresso at the bottom, so that way you don't get the plate dirty. And then you get your espresso here, and they also have a spoon for you. So we're gonna have to take our condensed milk and pour it into your espresso. Typically, I don't want too much condensed milk in my Vietnamese coffee, so you're just gonna have to add it and taste as you go. Gonna mix it up and look at the color. It's still kind of dark, so I'm gonna add a little bit more. If you really like your coffee especially sweet, then you're gonna have to add in more. But for me, I like it like a very good balance between sweet and bitter. As you can see, like the color is starting to change a little bit. I typically go for like a little bit more milky, but not too milky. So I'm just gonna pour a little bit more in. A lot of the times I base it off of the color whenever I make my Vietnamese coffee. It's looking pretty. Just a little bit more. Mix, mix, mix. It's like sweet enough, but I think I want a little bit more. Maybe they do want you to use the entire thing. I'm not sure. It's definitely an experience making your own coffee, but you get to control however much condensed milk, however much sweet you want or milky you want it to be. I'm not sure what beans they use, but they have their own brand of beans. Their Trung Legend brand. All right, I'm done mixing. I didn't use all of my condensed milk. I have a little tiny bit left. I think they measured it so that way you can use all of the condensed milk, but I don't want that much sweetness, and so that's all I'm gonna do. And then we have our cup of ice here and our Vietnamese coffee that we're gonna pour into the ice like that. And I'm just gonna mix and try it. My take on my Vietnamese coffee, one, I think the experience of making your own coffee in a cafe is very fun and very hands-on. The thing about this coffee is that it tastes very unique. I've never had any kind of Vietnamese coffee like this before, and I think that just might depend on the different regions in Vietnam and how they either roast the beans or maybe they use a different temperature. The aftertaste of this coffee is like a bitter and like a sour note, but it's just not the typical Vietnamese coffee I've had. Now, if I were to rate this, I would probably give this 8 to 8.5 out of 10, just because it's not my favorite, even though they use Robusta beans. And I think that just is like, depending on preference, this is like more Central Vietnam's take on Vietnamese coffee. I'm definitely from a different region from the south, and so I think I prefer my Robusta maybe roasted differently. I would still come back again to have this experience and maybe to sit here, because I definitely like the ambiance of this cafe, and it just gives me a very chill and relaxing experience. Moving on to the strawberry Yakult matcha. Interesting, I've never had matcha and Yakult and strawberry all in one, but curious. Okay, I'm gonna try it now. So at first sip, you'll taste the matcha, but it's very mild. And then you'll taste the strawberry, like you'll taste a little bit of the sweetness, and then you'll get the really strong strawberry taste at the end. If you like something that's a little bit more matcha, then I wouldn't recommend this. But if you like it a little bit more fruity, then definitely get the strawberry Yakult. I would probably give this maybe like a 7, just because I wanted a little bit more matcha taste, and I'm not getting a whole ton of that. I'm getting more of the Yakult and the strawberry. In terms of Vietnamese coffee, Cà Phê, it definitely tops this. Yeah, as I'm drinking this a little bit more, I'm not really loving this. I think just the aftertaste is not my thing. I don't think I can finish my entire coffee, and that says a lot. I originally said 8 to 8.5. Probably gonna have to give them maybe a 7. I do like the experience, but coffee taste is not there yet for me. I don't think I can finish this coffee. That's unfortunate because I would love to come back and just chill. Maybe I'll come back and try a different drink. Your girl is in Garden Grove, California today. I'm actually on historic Main Street. On this street alone, there are so many cute little shops and there are 3 different cafes all within the vicinity of one another. What's crazy is that like across from this first cafe, which is Phin Smith, right across from it, there's another cafe, and next to it right here, you'll see E Patisserie, which is also another cafe, and they're like right next to each other. I wonder if they're owned by the same people or they don't really mind the competition because they're all so different. First on the list for today, we're going to be hitting up Phin Smith and trying out their Vietnamese coffee. So let's head on in and we'll see how it goes. They have this really cute Vespa in the front. I really want one like in this color.
우회전 taking a ride to journey 눈치 보면서 들어가야 할 때 찾아 나머진 바빠 개설레임 바꾸는 사람들 시간만 지나가 자신감 가지고 해와 그냥 천천히
It's quite hot out today, almost 90 degrees, and I was walking for about 10 minutes, so your girl got 2 drinks. The first drink I got is Vietnamese coffee, and they asked me if I wanted hazelnut or sea salt. I wanted to give it a try with hazelnut. For the second drink, I got the blueberry matcha blend. It's actually my second time here at Phin Smith. The first time, I actually didn't get the Vietnamese coffee, so I'm really curious to see whether or not I will like the coffee here. Also my first time trying out their matcha as well. You have no idea how excited I am to have my first sip, especially after walking in the sun in 90 degrees weather. I'm all sweaty and hot, but this is gonna cool me down. That is really interesting. I feel like I have to get so many sips in order to figure out the taste of the coffee and whether or not I like it. For the Vietnamese coffee, Cà Phê, it is strong, which is what I expect it to be because it's Robusta beans. But I'm not sure if it's because of the condensed milk they use or if it's because I ordered the hazelnut with it. I'm getting a really interesting aftertaste. Either the condensed milk or some kind of milk that they use where it kind of gives me a little bit of like the coconut taste. And if you like coconut, I think this might be your go-to drink. But for me, I'm not loving the coconutty taste. It could just be the beans, where it's from, or some kind of coconut milk that they use in here. So I think I made the mistake of ordering it with the hazelnut, which kind of threw me off. And so I wasn't able to rate the Vietnamese coffee just by itself. If I were to grade it, I would give this a 7 out of 10 just because it's not the best Vietnamese coffee I've had. And I'm not a huge fan of the aftertaste. As for the matcha, I actually prefer this over the Vietnamese coffee. I feel like it's a lot more refreshing on a hot summer day at 90 degrees. And so this wasn't really quenching my thirst, but this kind of did. Although I would have to say I'm a little bit disappointed because I'm not really getting so much of the matcha taste. They did a really good job of blending it, and so I'm not getting any kind of like matcha chunks, and you could really taste the blueberry coming from here. Like it's very strong in blueberry taste. If I were to grade this, I would probably give this an 8 out of 10. The thing that I really like about Phin Smith is that they have ample seatings for you if you're really wanting to sit down and enjoy your cup of coffee, or if you want to sit there and study or work. They have lots of seatings for you, and they also have outlets along the wall so you can sit and do that. I'm not sure if it's a preference thing or if it's the fact that I'm Vietnamese that I really like to sit at a cafe and just really almost loiter and just sit there and just enjoy my cup of coffee and savor every last sip, just because I like to take it slow and really enjoy my drink. What I hate is that whenever there is a cafe that's more of like a grab and go, you're in and you're out and there's not enough seating for you. You can't really sit down, you can't really have that coffee in peace because, you know, here on the channel we like to get procaffeinated. We just like to sit there and enjoy it before we get really productive. And I think that Phin Smith is definitely that. You get to really sit down, chill, listen to the music, sip on your coffee at whatever pace you like. Your girl just finished her drink at Phin Smith, and now I'm literally just walking over across the street to go to Phúc Long Cafe. And I am not gonna say it in English just because it sounds like the F word, but let's go on in.
Feel like falling deeper. Colder nights 난 너무 싫어. 기다리기에는 너무 길어. 저 기대만 하는 것도 난 힘들어 No I can't just can't 가져 내 마음을 마저 내 가슴을 다 바쳐
Hello, can I get a cà phê sữa đá? Can I also get a đậu hũ đường? Only on the weekend. Then it's okay, I'll just get the cà phê sữa đá. Thank you.
I nearly tripped over this, but I believe this is their stage, and it seems like they have probably live music here.
상상만으로도 힘든 이중적인 면을 가지고 있어 사랑이라는 걸
Here at Phúc Long, I ordered a standard Vietnamese coffee, and I do want to clarify because there are two versions. The first one is a dark version where it doesn't have any condensed milk. Although it may be a little bit sweet, you can get it unsweetened. And then this is the one that I ordered, which is the milk version, and they use condensed milk. So in terms of taste, I will have to say that this gives me like a bitter, dark aftertaste, and I feel like that's probably because their coffee is a little bit over roasted, more like a medium dark roast. Whereas usually Vietnamese coffee is more on the medium roast. If you don't like that burnt or bitter aftertaste, this is not for you. But if you don't mind it at all, definitely give this a try. But I will have to say I do prefer this Vietnamese coffee over Phin Smith just because it gives me more of an authentic Vietnamese coffee compared to Phin Smith, and it's not giving me that coconutty aftertaste. If I were to rate this, I would give this a 7.5 out of 10. From what I heard, Phúc Long in Vietnam is a very popular coffee chain, almost comparable to Starbucks. And when they first opened up the location here in the US, there were so much hype behind it. There were long lines, and I just could not try this place out until now. And I would have to say that unfortunately, this is not the best coffee I've ever had, although it's not the worst either. Anyways, I'm gonna finish this coffee and I'll see you at the next cafe. I wanted to really hit all three of them, but unfortunately, one of them was actually closed by the time that I got there. So
Not gonna lie, I didn't plan on coming here, but I made a very spontaneous trip to Lee Sandwiches and I got their Vietnamese iced coffee. I got some gifts for a friend in Singapore. I'll give you a haul real quick, but if you're ever in the OC area, definitely give Lee Sandwiches a try. I know their name says Lee Sandwiches, but they're known for their Vietnamese coffee. Legend has it that the owner of Lee Sandwiches started out with a banh mi stand, and they also sold Vietnamese coffee, and they were so successful that they actually opened up so many different locations here in the OC. I don't know if LA also has some. If you're ever in the OC area, definitely give this a try. It's probably my favorite because it's standardized wherever you go. At every single location, their coffee tastes the same, and that's probably because they might have like, you know, the coffee already manufactured in like the bottle, and at the cafe they just pour it out over ice. I don't know if that's true, but you get this taste everywhere you go, and it's really strong, sweet, but not overly sweet. It's smooth, and just overall I feel like this is really delicious. And the ice that they use is like small crushed ice as well as big ice, and I think that's what makes a big difference in Vietnamese coffee. Oh yeah, this is amazing. I love this coffee. I honestly think you can't go wrong. Definitely give their coffee a try. As I mentioned earlier, I got my friend some coffee, and so I wanted to do a little haul. The first thing I got from my friend Gian is this pour over coffee filter packs. It is the ground coffee Parisian blend. Pretty much it comes in a filter like this, like a paper filter, and all you gotta do is put it over your cup and then pour in hot water, and voila, you got your cup of coffee. I'm really hoping that she'll like this coffee blend. The next thing I got is the Lee's coffee. This is the French roast ground coffee. They also said it's Parisian style, and usually we use a coffee fin with it. So I got her a coffee fin so that way she can also put in the ground coffee into the fin and then make her own coffee. These are the things that I got for Gian. I really hope that she'll like her coffee and that she makes it and drink it every single day. Gian, if you're watching, I hope you enjoy these.